The FCC just tore up the satellite rulebook on July 22nd and cleared 160 megahertz of C-band spectrum in the same session. 3 satellite operators walked away with incentive payments worth more than $6 billion between them. Both moves land on an industry that has spent years complaining about permitting delays. Start with the licensing half. The Commission adopted a report and order that scraps Part 25, the rule part that has governed American satellite and Earth station licensing for decades. In its place comes Part 100. The FCC said it chose to discard the legacy rules in their entirety and rebuild from first principles, and it called the 18-month effort historically unprecedented within the federal government. The item carried with Chairman Carr and Commissioners Gomez and Trustee approving. The C-band half has a longer history. In February 2021, the FCC announced the winners of Auction 107, which sold 5,684 lower C-band licenses to 21 bidders. Gross winning bids reached $81.17 billion. Verizon's bidding entity spent $45.45 billion. AT&T spent $23.41 billion, and T-Mobile spent $9.34 billion. That sale cleared 280 megahertz and squeezed satellite operators into a narrower slice of the band. The compression paid for hardware. SES and Eutelsat together ordered 13 new spacecraft to fit their traffic into less spectrum. The backdrop matters too. The Space Foundation put the global space economy at $686 billion in 2025, up 12% on the year. Commercial activity made up $544.3 billion of that. The other $141 billion came from 53 government budgets. Satellite manufacturing revenue grew 67.2% and launch services grew 49.4%, the fastest moving segments in the report. The new band plan is specific. The FCC reallocated 3.98 to 4.14 gigahertz for flexible terrestrial use. A guard band sits between 4.14 and 4.16 gigahertz, and fixed satellite service keeps 4.16 to 4.2 gigahertz with nothing below it. The clock comes from Congress. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act requires the auction within 2 years of enactment, which sets the deadline at July 4, 2027. Winning bidders still cannot switch on right away. Service in the cleared band starts in December 2030, timed against the FAA's radio altimeter retrofit work. Chairman Carr made that coordination the point of the decision. He said the FAA's parallel work will ensure that C-band services successfully coexist with aviation safety equipment in the adjacent band. Clearing is not a software change. Operators have to move customers off the lower part of the band, add filters at Earth stations, and in some cases launch replacement satellites with tighter transponder plans. That is why SES's clearing bill runs to billions rather than millions, and why the FCC built reimbursement for transition costs into the order. Part 100 works on a different logic than the rules it replaces. The FCC built what it calls a licensing assembly line. Splitting applications into modules, staff can work in parallel. The order sets bright line criteria for when a filing serves the public interest, so a compliant application gets granted instead of debated. It rebuilds surety bond requirements and license terms from first principles. It rewrites the NGSO processing round procedures that constellation operators fight over, and it requires operators to share space situational awareness data. The vote was not entirely clean. Commissioner Gomez dissented in part over tribal nation access to the spectrum. The money tracks how much each operator has to move, and SES takes the largest share at $5.6 billion in gross incentive payments. CEO Adel Al-Saleh said the payments appropriately recognize the role SES will play in repurposing 160 megahertz of upper C-band spectrum. The arithmetic works in the company's favor. SES has put its total clearing cost near $3.6 billion. Leaving roughly $2 billion of headroom. Eutelsat's position is smaller and more conditional. The operator will receive $504 million or 443 million euros pre-tax if it finishes inside the deadlines. CEO Jean-François Fallacher called the order an important milestone for the U.S. satellite and telecommunications industries. Telesat takes $189 million and says it is preparing to execute its transition plan. The auction is the far bigger number. Estimates put proceeds between $40.8 billion and $69.6 billion against FCC estimated clearing costs of $4 billion to $5 billion. That gap is why Congress wrote the deadline into law. Part 100 may matter more over 10 years. Amazon filed on July 24th for a direct-to-device constellation of more than 5,100 satellites using Globalstar spectrum. Faster grants help applicants with capital ready. They hurt incumbents who use delay as a moat. Balance matters here. A one-time payment does not repair the geostationary business. Eutelsat already owns OneWeb. The C-band money helps fund that kind of move rather than reverse the shift that made it necessary. 3 dates are worth tracking. Operators owe the FCC their clearing plans by November 5th. The FCC votes on August 6th on unlicensed uplinks. Hubble Network and Spire already operate there under waivers, and VAST plans Wi-Fi access points on its Haven 1 station. The auction itself has to close by July 4th, 2027, and the bids will settle whether a spectrum check can carry the GEO business through the decade.